Hey, everybody, it's Tony and Mike's New Adventure. Another week has gone by, and we welcome you once again. Me broadcasting from Stamford, Mike from Pennsylvania. And, well, always a pleasure to be here. I'm proud to say, believe it or not, my wife and I have both scheduled our COVID shots. They're coming in March and in April. And so far, the booking of the appointment has been painless.
Well, how did
Okay.
you book it? Was it online or did you have to call or what?
Well, for my wife, because she works for the school system, they're going to come to, not to the school, but they're coming to the town hall, and that's where they're going to get their
Oh, okay.
shots.
All right.
So last night, she sat here in front of the computer and she did her thing. So she's all set. This morning, she called me. She says, I booked your appointment. Your first one is in. I says, oh, okay. All right. So I'm going in March. I have to go to Stanford Hospital the end of March, like March 27th, I guess it is.
Okay.
But so far, the booking of the appointment has been, it was very painless for the both of us. What's going to happen after this? I don't know. But I know a lot of people spent a lot of time in front of their computer trying to get an appointment. So we'll see what happens. You know?
Yeah, I know that I'm supposed to find out when I'm eligible to go because my job, I guess, allows me to cut in line at least in front of some people, being a frontline worker type of thing. So I think I probably will be getting one, I would think, in the spring. I think so.
Yeah. If not sooner than that.
Yeah.
I know that my son Jake, who is a police officer, he's already gone through the first phase. But again, it's different for frontline workers.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Now, after my category, which really begins on Monday, which is 55, I want to say 55 to 75, I think.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the age bracket is, but I know I'm in there. And then, after that, I think there's 16 and up, age 16 and up.
No,
We'll see how it all goes.
I just make that. I just make the 16 and up.
Well, yeah,
Special.
so mentally, you're 16, so you should be.
I'd
no
be
problem
remiss.
for
We
you.
can't go any further than this in the show without wishing Tony Reno a happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Yesterday was his birthday. Are you okay saying your age or what?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you. This one was a tough one. I mean, don't get me wrong. I didn't lay in bed with the covers over my head all day long sobbing. At least not over that. Yeah, no. Yesterday I turned 60 years old.
Wow.
60. And who would have thought? I never
You're a
thought that I would have.
sextagenarian.
Is that what that is? I never thought that I would make it to that point. I really don't. And believe me, I'm 60 and I feel every bit of it and I look every bit of it.
Because what's that noise you make when you get out of a chair? What's that?
Oh, yeah. Well, it doesn't matter. Getting out of a chair, getting into a chair, I always make this noise. Whoosh!
Yeah, yeah.
Have
you seen the Progressive commercial where you turn into your father? I think of you every single time. That part is, you heard that, right? Everybody heard that? Everybody heard when he sits. It's so true. It's so true.
Absolutely good. That's the best, man. I love that commercial. And that guy, whoever he is, who plays the analyst, absolutely perfect.
Perfect. He does it perfectly. So write in the comments right now, right? Wish Tony a happy birthday. I don't know if Tony ever watches the video when it goes on Facebook or reads the comments or anything, but I want to see lots of comments wishing Tony a happy birthday. I know people did that for me back in December, but we're not. It's different. We're not on the radio anymore. This is the sad part of no longer in that profession, is that you got used to the fact that birthdays were acknowledged. You got used to the fact that special occasions were acknowledged. You'd get calls to the station, you'd get emails, you'd get messages on Facebook, and we still do, because a little box pops up and says, hey, it's Tony Reno's birthday, wish him a happy birthday and stuff. But that's a part that I think we both miss a little bit, is that those types of special days, are missed because we're no longer on the radio. We don't have that opportunity for a public type of thing anymore. And so this is the opportunity for people who are watching this. You now know that yesterday was Tony's birthday. Flood the comments wishing Tony a happy birthday. I know I'd love to see as many people wish him a happy birthday as possible. So do it right now. If you haven't done it 3 times, you haven't done it enough. Do it 3 times. Just say happy birthday over and over and over again while you're watching this video, just so Tony feels the love.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much there, Michael.
But 60 is old.
And I look at it as your birthday, 1 year closer to death. That's the way I look at it.
All right. I mean, I don't see that on a Hallmark card anytime soon, but unless it's got, the guy that's got my body in the Speedo, and then you open it up saying you're 1 day closer to death.
Yeah. Or my face with the Grim Reaper hood hanging over your head. Unbelievable.
I just watched the Grim Reaper Twilight Zone episode the other day.
Which one was that? Robert Redford?
No, I don't think he was in that one.
Okay.
Was he?
Well, no, there was one where he was death. And
yeah, there was a guy who was deaf who just kept following he was like a
hitchhiker, the hitchhiker.
No, he wasn't a hit. No. But you're all over the place here. No, it was the guy was like a salesman on the street.
Oh, that was the one with the silent, not the silent movie actor. I can't think of his name now. That was an early Twilight Zone.
Yes, that was
like
one of the first
on the street.
episodes.
He was a vendor.
Yes.
On the street.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, I just watched that the other week. So
yes.
Where he cheated death, at least for a little while.
Right. The one with Robert Redford, there was an old woman that became a recluse. She was afraid to go out because she thought that death would come and take her away. And Robert Redford knocked on the door and he let her in, and she let him in because he was a nice looking man and everything like that. He turned out to be death.
Oh,
I thought death would be ugly. Oh, yeah, there you go.
I thought he was the horse whisperer. Wasn't he the horse whisperer?
I thought so too.
The natural. I thought he was the natural. Yeah. All right, what do we start with?
Well, Tiger Woods. Give me your take on that. I think at the very least, well, for those who don't know what's going on, Tiger Woods recovering after going through hours of surgery, particularly on his right leg, which was mangled in the car crash in California. Tiger's team hasn't commented on the prognosis, but random doctors online, they're saying that they're optimistic about his future as a pro golfer, which I do hope so. That he will come back. I don't think he's going to come back anytime soon, but maybe with rehabilitation, he'll be able to get strong and get back on the course again. I'm sorry, my mind
I know
went completely to alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it went. And maybe I shouldn't do that, but that's what I thought. But I was glad to see that they're saying that no alcohol was involved. I think Tiger Woods' problem, because this is his second or third car accident in the last few years. I think Mr. Woods might have a lead foot. Likes to drive.
Well, it was at 7:00 in the morning. Apparently, it was down a hill, and this is the police described this area as like a speeder's alley. I mean, people do go fast down there. And he went off the road, and there were no skid marks. Like, he didn't even hit the brakes. The first time whenever I see something like that, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, did he try to take his own life? I mean, if you're not even trying to stop and you're going off the road like that. Now, see, that's funny because I saw interviews with doctors that said that there is no way he's going to be able to play professional golf again.
Okay.
So I don't know. I mean, let's put it this way. This guy, you talk about what year was it that everything, no pun intended, came crashing down on him? That his life just completely, was that 10 years ago?
Yeah, that's close to 10 years ago.
Sure. Because the Tiger Woods before then, the image of Tiger Woods. And then since then, he was in the doghouse with just about everybody for a long time, but then he started to come out of it. He won the Masters again, and people started talking again, will he break Jack Nicklaus's record when it comes to the amount of majors? Now that of course is golf talk. We're kind of keeping it more generalized in whether or not he'll ever golf again. But it's sad. Even though it appears that he caused this crash, it was a single vehicle. Nobody was inside. He didn't hit anybody else. It's just sad because, he was just golfing with his son in a tournament where his son was really showing off in front of all these pros, like, oh my gosh, this guy's like his dad and all that stuff. He sort of had that human element that Tiger Woods never really had before. He was always so clinical about everything, standoffish sort of. He kind of gave you the same answers to all the questions. But in the last couple of years, he's sort of shown that human side. And yeah, it's very sad. I think I saw a police officer say that they've seen car accidents with much less damage that caused fatalities.
Well,
So
they
he's
say
lucky
that
to be alive.
the seatbelt saved his life.
Yeah.
So
Airbag, seatbelt,
Yep.
and yeah, very sad. So I think the first question is, will he ever walk again? And then after that, I mean, if there's anybody who can do it, it's Tiger Woods. And that's probably going to be his greatest motivation, is to get back out on the golf course at some point. But I think you're talking years and probably the seniors tour, I think.
yeah, it's gonna take a while, but he's a he's a competitor. Him and Derek Jeter, I put in the same category. Like Derek Jeter in his final 2 years. Remember, he broke his leg in the playoffs against Detroit, I guess it was, and he missed a whole season because of that, or he came back too soon, and he didn't want people to remember him that way. So he did come back one more year just to show, hey, I could still do this.
Yep.
And I think that's what Tiger Woods is going to want to do. He's going to want to show everybody, this isn't going to get me down. I think anyway,
Well, and
work
also
hard.
the sport of golf needs him. I mean, I don't think that I don't know if there's any athlete that has increased the net worth of a sport more than Tiger Woods has for golf.
Mhm.
I mean, Tiger Woods, golf was always viewed as the white-haired, white guy, country club type of sport. And then Tiger Woods comes along and revolutionizes the image of golf. But then any tournament that he's in and he's in the running, the ratings are unbelievably high, even still, versus, name another golfer, Phil Mickelson or, Rory McIlroy or Dustin Johnson, all these guys. Nobody brings in the
root for
viewers
him.
like Tiger.
You do,
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's going to be a long time before we see him again. So hopefully this will all work out. One thing's for sure, these athletes, they're not afraid of hard work, to get back to where they were. If he can indeed get back to where he was.
He had a rod inserted in his leg just to keep everything
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see.
I don't know.
Sad, very, very sad. The other big story today, the royal family issued a statement saying that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are officially out as working members of the royal family, but they added that the Duke and the Duchess remain much loved members of the family. Harry, you are so stupid. You are so stupid, man. Just so stupid.
Why? Why is he stupid?
Because, first of all,
and what is this all over? Is this all over the way the press is treating her?
I think it's over the way she's been treated, but also I really do believe that she was an actress.
Mhm.
She was in Hollywood, and I think she thought, oh, this is going to be a snap. It's you're going to go to premieres and you're going to wave and everybody's going to love you because you're royalty. And it didn't turn out that way. It's not like, her celebrity or the royal family. It's not like being Meryl Streep. There's a difference there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when the royal family was really popular, meaning when Diana was around, Man, she worked hard,
Yeah.
for different causes, and she was in the middle of all of it. And I just thought that I just think that Meghan Markle thought it was going to be a snap. It was going to be no problem whatsoever, and she's not as see like who's the
Kate Middleton.
Kate Middleton. Kate Middleton is to me very likable. She's
She's
quiet.
polished. She's polished.
Polished.
Yeah.
She's ladylike,
Mhm.
And I'm sorry, Meghan Markle just doesn't put across.
Yeah, well,
that-
I mean, part of it is the fact that she's American. So I mean that
Well,
kind of that
okay.
caused a friction. What I was surprised to read was that the British people are actually against Harry and Meghan Markle. And I thought that, the younger folks in England would be more towards Harry, like, trying to get rid of the old guard. But I guess even William had some issues with what was going on here and has made comment about it.
I'm just saying it's this is. I mean, I know he's got no chance of being king, and he wants to live his life and all of. But you're royalty, man. You're this is the ultimate.
Right.
You know what I mean. I
Right.
don't.
But he's also a husband and a father. I mean, maybe he's just completely his priorities are different. That his priorities are with his family and he doesn't see what's happening, at Buckingham Palace as something that he wants to be a part of anymore, or doesn't feel the support. Maybe Meghan Markle, behind the scenes isn't getting the support that he feels that she deserves. So he just wants to kind of move on in his own way. I don't know. I'm always so fascinated just how people clamor over every little detail about the royal family. I mean, just I to me, it's just kind of like, all right, Harry was in Vegas drunk. It's great. Good for him. I mean, it's
My question is, what do they do? You know what I mean? Like, what is their what's your?
well, they're
what's your-
figureheads. I mean, really. I mean, it's changed over the years. I mean, obviously, the role of the queen is it's much different than it was before. But I don't know. I'm like I said, I've always found it fascinating that the love that Americans even have for the royal family, and are hanging on to every single detail. So yeah, no, I saw that too.
Let me ask you this: was it always like this? Were the Americans always infatuated with royalty, or did that come with Princess Diana in the last 40 years?
Well, I mean, obviously we weren't always, because we broke off as a country
Well, I'm
because
not
we.
talking.
No, I know, I know what you're saying though.
But in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, were we that?
I don't know. You were around.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. All right.
I would assume. I would assume that Princess Diana had a lot to do with the American invasion, so to speak, when it comes to the royal family. I would think that her and her causes that she was a part of across the world. I think that Americans were interested in the marriage and how it just was like, huh, what? He married her? What's going on here? Who does he have pictures of? How did he, what's this kind of thing? And then when the marriage fell apart, it was one of those, what are you thinking, man? That kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So I think a lot of that had to do with it too, and I think that we're still involved because of the two boys. William and Harry, they were right there by Diana's side, as young boys, and now we see them. One of them is the future king. So,
Well,
yeah.
I always said, since all of this, since we've gotten to this point, I think that Charles should just say, to the Queen, when it's your time, just give it, to who's
To
the
William,
older
to
boy?
William,
William, just give
to
it to
Billy,
William.
give it to Billy.
You know, I'm going to retire. Just give it to, because he's what, 75?
Yeah, but
She's almost 100
hasn't he
years
been
old.
waiting for that since he was born? Well, I don't know. Is it her decision? I mean,
Well, I think you're there for life. I mean, don't get me wrong. She can uh, resign or whatever the word is, but I think it's like the Pope. You're there for life, you know. But like I
so
said,
only her passing will cause there to be the next king.
right. And
Okay.
like I said, I think that Charles should just say, "Give it to my son. I'm not worthy." You know,
Now, would the cover of the New York Post be Charles in charge?
right.
If
That's
the first
exactly
day
right.
that he,
Yeah. Yeah. Good God. Good God. Hey, this should make you happy. Um, Adam Sandler and Chris McDonald, they're discussing the possibility of bringing back Happy and Shooter to do another Happy Gilmore 2.
well, I saw on, have you seen the first one?
You know, how many times?
It's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. I mean,
It's a
my
great
gosh.
movie. It's a
But
great movie.
there was a Facebook video of Adam Sandler doing The Swing,
Right.
and Shooter McGavin, or Chris McDonald, the guy or whatever his name is that played Shooter McGavin, he commented on it. So that's kind of started the rivalry again. Why not? I mean, he's got this deal with Netflix. Just throw it on Netflix. I mean, I think everybody would love it.
Sure.
Is Bob Barker still alive?
Bob Barker's 97 years old.
All right, so you'd have to bring him back because that's one of the famous scenes of Happy Gilmore. But yeah, I mean, I'd watch it. I'd watch it for sure.
If it was on Netflix, I'd watch it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm not going to the theater to see
No,
Happy
no,
Gilmore 2
no.
or Happier Gilmore.
And
I mean,
it's
what would they call
just, this is the way that it goes. Very rarely does a sequel live up to the expectations.
True,
Very rarely.
true.
That very
But
rarely happens.
see, this is the thing. You know, how many years ago was that movie? 25?
Oh, that's got to be
20?
25, 30 years ago. Yeah.
Is it really a sequel when it's that far off? You know what I mean? Like when they used to do movies like every 2, 3 years to put a sequel out or something, you know, they would lose flavor. But when you have something like look at Cobra Kai. When they were doing the Karate Kid movies, like one after another, I mean, come on. Did anybody see Karate Kid 3? I mean, it got to the point where it was like, this is ridiculous. But now the craze for Cobra Kai, because you're bringing back those old characters, I don't know. I think it could live up to the expectations. I think so. Happy Gilmore 2 or
We'll
whatever.
see. One thing's for sure, people can't explain it, but Adam Sandler, his movies always make money.
Yeah.
He always makes money. He always does well with his movies. I mean, I like them. I always found them to be entertaining.
Yeah.
But you know, his movies don't get great reviews. But
No,
do the
no.
reviews matter when your pictures are making
I
two
guess
or 300
I
million?
thought Happy Gilmore was the best of the bunch.
Yes, that was his best movie, I thought.
Billy Madison was okay, but I thought Happy Gilmore was the tops when it comes to the movies he made.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Now we were just talking about Netflix. Well, apparently March 4th is when Paramount Plus is supposed to launch. March 4th. Remember, those were the commercials during the Super Bowl.
Great
where
commercials.
the Beavis and Butthead, you know,
Great commercials. Awesome.
What was it again? What did the lady say?
They finally get to the beginning of the mountain, and she puts her foot on it, and it starts to crumble, and she goes, "We can't go this way. There's a crack." And then there's Beavis and Butthead. She said crack. But the funny thing is that like they pan everybody who's in the commercial, and they start smiling too. You know, like yeah. He said crack. Very funny.
And then the one with Snooki. This sucks.
Yeah, just great. Just great.
Well, apparently it's launching March 4th. It's going to cost $5 a month or $10 for the premium version, which is no commercials. If you are already subscribed to CBS All Access, it's just a rebranding. So you're already paying for it. So if you already have CBS All Access, now arguably the biggest thing they announced for Paramount Plus is the long-awaited revival of Frasier. It will star Kelsey Grammer, who just can't seem to find any work other than Sideshow Bob and Frasier. right? I mean, he was in that one, he was like a senator or something in that one show on
Yeah.
Showtime, I think.
Yes. And he did a one season of a show called Back to You with Patricia Heaton.
Yeah, that was
And
a news show or something.
they did like a 6 o'clock news show thing, but
Oh,
they were exes. They were once married to each other. That
okay.
lasted a year. And then Patricia Heaton signed on to do another comedy called Carol's Second Act. And at the end of the first season, Kelsey Grammer shows up and he's going to be her new boss. Okay. And you could see she was like, oh, because she dealt with this guy before. So she's got that face of like, oh, God, oh, God. And then the next day that was canceled. So
He's just, like I said, Frasier and Sideshow Bob.
yes. But don't forget, dude, he was on Cheers for 10 years. He
As
did
Frasier.
for 10 years.
Right.
You know,
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. Kelsey Grammer's not hurting, but he's just a one-trick pony. I mean, that's it. That's the only
Yeah.
role that he's had that's been anything. Um, let's see. There will be a new Rugrats CG animated series, a new show set in the universe of Avatar. There'll be like another Avatar type movie. Animated series called Star Trek Prodigy, iCarly reboot. I know you're interested in that.
Yeah, you're really
Live action versions of Dora the Explorer. I'm the map. I'm the map. And the Fairly Odd Parents. There's adult stuff too. Revivals of MTV's Behind the Music. Yo MTV Raps. I know you were looking for a revival of that.
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
and Unplugged. They're going to have Unplugged.
Okay.
Now that might actually be worth something to see some of these artists, unplugged. That was really at its time, that was huge to see some of these rock bands do acoustic versions of their songs. I mean, that's where they did it. Now they can, release on YouTube or whatever the case may be.
No, but Unplugged was, and the first one was Paul McCartney. He did the very first Unplugged.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So I mean, yeah, there'll be movies based on Workaholics and Beavis and Butthead. But what about I thought they were doing a new season of Beavis and Butthead.
oh, I don't know. Maybe they're doing it on this Paramount network.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. So yet another streaming service if people are interested in it. Right now, what do you have? You have HBO Max, right?
We've got HBO Max and we have Netflix.
Yeah, I have Disney Plus, Netflix, Prime Video, and I think that's it. Yeah, I had Hulu, but I got rid of that. Although
Well,
Handmaid's Tale is a pretty good show.
I still find that the more television that you have, the more you go back to reruns of Everybody Loves Raymond and
Yeah.
and Andy Griffith. I mean, that's very rarely.
Well,
does it-
and I got to be honest with you, I don't hear enough about these shows. It used to be where you'd be at work and you'd overhear somebody talking about, hey, I was watching this show, and then you would kind of get interested in it
Mhm.
and you'd watch it. You'd sit down with your family, you'd watch the show because, ER or Lost or, one of these shows back in the day, because everybody was talking about it. Nobody's talking about any new shows on television of any sort. The only one I thought was somewhat interesting, I never actually watched it though, was Clarice. That the idea of that show was interesting. I think my sister, do you watch that show?
I watched the first one and it was I didn't even finish it. It seemed kind of slow for
Yeah.
me, but I don't know. I loved Silence of the Lambs. I thought
Sure.
Silence of the Lambs one of the greatest movies of all time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I don't know that story, the whole Clarice thing. Those two characters, Anthony Hopkins and Jodie Foster, the characters that they played, they're iconic, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It was kind of hard for me to accept
Oh really? Okay.
somebody else, but that's
Is
me.
there any talk about Anthony Hopkins getting on the show?
I haven't heard anything. Have not heard anything.
Because I mean, Silence of the Lambs ended with him just sort of walking off in a Bahama hat, and that was it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Remember, he was following some guy, some psychiatrist or something that was analyzing him.
Yeah,
And he said to Clarice
he's
on
having
the
a friend for
phone,
dinner.
he was like, he assured her he wasn't coming after her. And she
Right.
goes, well, where are you going? Oh, I'm having an old friend for dinner. It's like, okay.
With a
Okay.
bottle of Chianti. But yeah, so I don't know. That was the only show but I mean, nobody's talking about him. So you go on Netflix, which I find to be the most annoying of all of the streaming services, because every time you go to another box, it comes on with the preview or a clip of it. It's like, oh my gosh, all right, I want to turn that part off, because it's like, because some of it's not appropriate, like Night Stalker. I mean, that's not appropriate. If my kids are here watching TV and I'm flipping through Netflix and that just comes up, it's not appropriate for heck anybody to watch that. But yeah, I find that to be a little bit on the annoying side. So
Yeah.
I don't know. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but there are things that are on Netflix or any of these streaming services. Like you said, if somebody says, check this out, it's really good. I'll try it. And
yeah.
a lot of times you do get hooked on it. We got hooked on The Sinner
Hmm.
with Jessica Biel. So we're in the middle of watching that now on Netflix. But if somebody didn't tell me, you've got to watch this, I wouldn't even know that it existed.
Now, have you seen the
So
Ozarks?
no, I
Okay,
hear a lot
that's
about
another
that
one.
too.
That's another one.
Okay.
Start watching the Ozarks after The Sinner.
My son just discovered Sons of Anarchy. That's his new one.
Okay,
So,
yeah. If I were you, I'd go with the Ozarks before.
okay.
That's got Jason Bateman in it
Yeah.
and Laura Linney. Yeah, Laura Linney.
Jason Bateman is good. Anything he's in is usually good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who would have thought Hogan's or what the Hogan
Hogan.
family that
Yeah.
he would be doing that. All right, you want to do yes or BS?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. True or false? Once again, happy birthday to Tony from yesterday. So comment. Tony looks his age. Comment. Happy birthday, Tony. You're the best. We miss you. All this, all that garbage. Put it on there. All right. So yes or BS. It's either yes or BS. Apparently, it was Margarita Day on Monday. I know you don't partake.
I'm sorry I missed it.
Yeah. But according to the International Bartenders Association, which there is one, the official recipe for a margarita is only 3 ingredients. True or false? Or yes
True.
or BS?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
There are lots of recipes out there, but the IBA's is just tequila, triple sec, and lime juice. Salt is optional.
See, I know that because there's a show called Bar Rescue with John Taffer.
Oh,
And
okay.
just recently, one of his mixologists, as he calls them, put together a margarita, and there was like 3 ingredients in it. So you got to check that show out. John Taffer is great.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
All right. What is that on? What is that on?
That's on Paramount Network. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. He yells at them. He swears at them. He's great. I love it.
The word margarita means daisy in Spanish.
BS.
No. Yes.
Okay.
Before margaritas, there was a similar drink called the Daisy that's made with brandy instead of tequila. They gained traction in the US in the 1930s after a lot of Americans vacationed in Mexico during Prohibition.
Oh, okay.
Number 3, a survey out last month found margaritas are the most ordered cocktail in the world.
I would say yes.
That's BS, Tone.
Really?
BS. It did make the top 5, though. An old fashioned is number 1, followed by Negronis.
You're asking me?
I don't know what that is. Dry martinis, and then margaritas are in 5th.
I can't picture you going into a bar and the bartender says, what do you have, Mike? I'll have an old fashioned. I can't, and I would fall right down. Yes, I'll have an old fashioned. Yes.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, a margarita, but
Maybe.
I prefer a frozen margarita. I don't know if I have to check the man card for that, but I prefer a frozen margarita with salt.
Okay.
But not in the winter time because I have chapped lips and that salt hurts.
Okay. All right.
All right, number 4. The Texas State Fair has sold deep fried margaritas before. Deep fried margaritas.
That sounds ridiculous, so I'll say yes.
Yeah, it debuted in 2012. They mixed in funnel cake batter, fried it, soaked it in more margarita, and served it in the salt-rimmed glass.
Interesting.
Only in Texas.
Only in Texas. There you go.
Let's see here. And number 5, the world record for largest margarita ever made was over 10,000 gallons.
I'd say BS.
Yes, 10,499 gallons. A Margaritaville restaurant, California, did it in 2012. They used over 4,600 bottles of Cuervo Gold tequila, over 8,000 gallons of margarita mix, 50 gallons of lime mix, 20 gallons of some liqueur. It was enough to make about 134,000 drinks.
All right.
And for Mike back in college, that was just a Saturday afternoon.
That was just a warm up. Yeah.
Yeah, that was before I would eat some pasta or some bread, to start soaking it up.
Right.
I had my days, man. I had my days. And tequila was oddly my liquor of choice.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. I liked tequila.
My liquor of choice was Hawaiian Punch. Very big.
Did you ever have tequila with Hawaiian Punch?
No.
There was, my parents are going to watch this. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, this explains so much about him. But there was one party that I was at. I was watching my figure.
Yes.
So I had a 2-liter of Diet Coke in one hand, and I had a handle of Jose Cuervo in the other. And I ended up in the bushes. And I don't mean George W. I ended up in the bushes.
For how many days?
Just one. I woke up, I think it was the middle of the night. Party had ended, and I was like knocking on the door of the house, and the parents had come home. And like all the lights turned on, and my friend was up in his door, like, get out of here. And I'm like, oh, and I have like,
Leaves.
twigs in my hair and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Who would have known that I'd be where I am today,
And where's that?
Exactly.
Good God.
Got anything else, or you want to do bad decisions?
No, let's do bad decisions. Here
Once again, happy birthday to Tony. Happy birthday. Write it again. Write it again. Happy birthday. Okay, sing this song.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Bad decisions. Mike Bellamy is here for you and me.
All right, now you and I have both had jobs that we really hated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We've both had mornings where we've woken up and we just don't want to go to work.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
There's a 19-year-old guy named Brandon Souls of Coolidge, Arizona. And earlier this month, the police found him near a water tower with his hands tied behind his back and a bandana stuffed in his mouth. Oof. Now, I told police he'd been kidnapped by 2 men in masks who knocked him out, drove him around a little bit, and dumped him by the water tower. Well, police did what police do. They investigated. They really couldn't find any evidence that he'd been kidnapped. Surveillance videos didn't back up his story. And there were some inconsistencies in it, too. So on Wednesday, good old Brandon was arrested for making a false report. Now, he wound up admitting that he made the whole thing up because he didn't want to go to the tire shop for work later that day. The tire shop.
Was he fired?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, maybe the big picture just didn't really work out for him in the end. I mean, all you got to do is I don't know if I'll get tested, boss. I don't know if it's COVID or, that's all you got to do nowadays, right?
That's all you got to do.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you got to do. All right. So what's the word of the week?
Well, this week I've been watching a show on the History Network or History Channel called The Food That Built America. And the latest installment was the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup and how that took off. Actually invented like in 1908. It's amazing how far back these candies go.
This
So I'm
is
going to
right
go
up the
with,
street here in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
yeah, yeah. But I'm going to go with Reese's Pieces.
Okay, now you know that you've just now thrown in a different company.
What are
Do
you
they
talking
make,
about?
does Hershey's,
It's the
oh yeah,
same
Hershey makes Reese's Pieces, right?
because,
Right, because ET did M&Ms.
right.
No,
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 he
wait,
teamed
what?
with Hershey. That's what ended up happening.
Let's just start the whole show over.
Okay.
I'm all messed up. What? Okay. No, Reese's Pieces are Hershey.
Right, but at first they weren't. In the early days,
Were they by themselves?
he was like doing it on his own. And then Hershey came to him and said, "Oh, okay, I don't want the competition anymore. I'm going to buy you out or make you a partner or something like that." And that's how that all became what it is.
All right. Well, since you're nerding out and watching the show, what came first, Reese's Pieces or Reese's Peanut Butter Cups?
Oh no, Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
Oh, okay. All right.
And the thing about
Did you
peanut
see
butter
what they're
was-
doing with them now?
What are they doing?
They're sneaking pretzels in there now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
no problem.
Yeah, that's a great combination.
It's
I'm
a great
surprised it took
combination,
so
sure.
long.
Absolutely.
The more the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, put them in the freezer. Oh,
But what was pissing Hershey off was that these Reese's Peanut Butter Cups started to become the most popular candy in the United States. And Hershey didn't, he was like, no, buy them out.
yeah. If
So,
you can't beat them, buy them, right?
yep. I always said that, sure.
And what did Hershey start with? Do you remember?
What do you start with? It's just a regular
Caramel.
candy.
Caramels.
With what?
Caramels,
Oh, really?
caramel.
Okay.
That's what he started with. And my understanding was that it didn't do so well.
Right.
And did you know that Hershey, a lot of people think that Hershey is like this global, the Europeans don't really like milk chocolate. They're not big fans of milk. Hershey is like not, Hershey's an American company. Hershey is dominant. But what's the name of that company that owns like Oreos and starts with an M?
Nabisco. Oh,
Nah, well, yeah, but there's like another company that's like in Europe that just they globally make so much more money than that's what I was, because at times I applied for a job at Hershey, and I read up on them and all that kind of stuff, and I was interested in the history of it, and it was interesting to see just how far down Hershey was globally, because milk chocolate is not like a huge, that's not a delicacy outside of the United States. Like people don't really like it, which I could sit there with the Hershey syrup and just drink it. I mean,
perfectly normal. Perfectly normal. I've done that many times. That's why I'm under a doctor's care today, is because of Hershey's syrup, chocolate syrup. Sure.
all right. So
absolutely.
Reese's Pieces. That's the word this week. And once again, happy birthdays. I just want to see a whole bunch of happy birthdays for Tony
Thank
Reno,
you.
who turned 60 yesterday.
Thank
all
you
right.
very, very much. All right.
All right. That's going to do it.
Okay.
All right.
Isn't
Happy
that enough?
birthday. Bye, Tone. Bye.